All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the fourth part of the show, we are going to get into who I have winning each award now in the NFL. So I'm going to do MVP last, but let's kind of go through it. So we got, well, like I said, MVP I'm going to do last. But we got Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. I forgot they had Defensive Rookie of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year, and Coach of the Year. I know there was one I did forget. Like I said, Defensive Rookie of the Year. But so we'll start from. Actually, we'll go Offensive Player of the Year first. I'll give you guys my Defensive Rookie of the Year at some point, but yeah, that was I forgot to include that. But anyway, so Offensive Player of the Year, I have Tyreek Hill. Last year, if he doesn't get hurt late in the year, probably ends up winning MVP, honestly. Last year, Christian McCaffrey took that award, but I just think Tyreek Hill is going to have another monster season. He was incredible last year, and I think that's going to continue this season with Tua. Again, if he doesn't get hurt last year, I think he gets 2,000 yards. Can he get to 2,000 yards this year? And I think if he doesn't get hurt, probably ends up getting there. So I got him an Offensive Player of the Year. I got the guy that was snubbed last year for Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt. TJ Watt was unbelievable last year. Now, Myles Garrett ended up taking the honors of Defensive Player of the Year, but a lot of people looked at TJ Watt's season and were saying he got snubbed. And going back to his stats, 48 solo tackles, 19 sacks, which was first in the NFL, four forced fumbles, a tongue twister there, and then he had one interception. He played in all 17 games. Now, unfortunately, and also 3 fumble recoveries. Also, unfortunately for the Steelers, because he got hurt in the regular season finale against the Ravens. He got hurt in that. So he didn't even play in the playoff game against the Bills. Now, I don't think that game would have played out any differently. But, when TJ Watt is not on the field for the Steelers, they're a different team. They just are. So, I got him winning Defensive Player of the Year. Then, for Offensive Rookie of the Year, I got Caleb Williams. It's a popular pick. I don't think that really comes as much of a surprise. But, yeah, I got him winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. I just think he's surrounded by so much talent. And I think the Bears are going to have a good year. I think they're going to fall just short of making the playoffs. Based off of what I gave you for my, my playoff team predictions. I just think that they're going to fall a little bit short. Excuse me. Still dealing with this cough. But yeah. I do think they're going to fall a little bit short of the playoffs. But I think it's going to be because they're going to start off the season a little bit slow. But I do think Caleb Williams is going to get into a groove, and this team's going to get hot during the season, and I think, like I said, they're going to finish with a respectable record, but they're going to fall like a little bit short of making the postseason. But I think he's going to have a good first season, especially because of the talent that he is surrounded by. So I got him winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year is, now, there are a ton of players that I could have picked. There's a lot of good candidates. But I am going to go with Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to pick Aaron Rodgers. I'm picking Aaron Rodgers. I just think that, the Jets are going to have a good season. And, I think that he's going to be one of the main reasons for it. And, you got Garrett Wilson to throw the football to. You got Breece Hall running the football. And also the protection, too. I do think it is gonna hold up. Look, I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan. I know I've said that, plenty of times on the show. I do think it also could be Joe Burrow that ends up getting this award. And maybe it'll end up being him. But, if Aaron Rodgers at 40 years old comes back off an Achilles and goes out there and has a good season and the Jets make the playoffs, it's going to be hard to say he doesn't deserve the award. But that's just my thought on that. And then for Coach of the Year, I got Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is a popular pick. I think he's really going to turn the Chargers around. I think that, they're going to be a more respectable team than they were last year. And I think they'll probably, just miss the playoffs. But they're going to be a team that's going to be in the mix. I definitely do believe that. That they'll be a team that's competitive all year. They'll stick around. But, yeah, they might just fall a little bit short of making the playoffs. But Harbaugh's really going to turn that team around. I do think so. And I said a little bit before, they got the quarterback with Justin Herbert. I just think that, it's going to be a stepping stone. They might not necessarily get the results that they want in terms of making the playoffs, but, compared to how the Chargers were last year, going 9-8, because I have them going 9-8. Turning that team around, I think is going to go a long way. You know what? Maybe he does get Coach of the Year. So, got him at Coach of the Year. And then we move on to MVP. And for MVP, now, I tried to be a little bit different. A little bit. It might be a little out there. But I'm going to say that, because I could have went with Mahomes. Could have went with Lamar. Could have went with Allen, Burrow. I'm going to say that CJ Stroud will win MVP in 2024. I'm going to say that. Love the moves that the Texans have made this offseason. Now adding Stephon Diggs, bringing in Joe Mixon to go along with what they already have. Had a very good touchdown to interception ratio last year. Now, I think he only threw 23 touchdowns. That number is going to go up. I think he's going to have 30-plus touchdowns this year. I'm very high on the Texans. I think they're going to be very good. And I just think he's going to take off, and he's going to put himself in that conversation as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Or he's already working his way into that conversation. But now, he's, got to continue to build that. And I think this season is going to help him out with that. And like I said, he's going to be put in as he's going to be put in that conversation. And I think, especially if he goes out there and wins MVP, he'll definitely be in that conversation. So I got CJ Stroud winning MVP. So just to go through it, so Stroud MVP, Offensive Player of the Year Tyreek Hill, Defensive Player of the Year TJ Watt, Offensive Rookie of the Year Caleb Williams, and comeback Player of the Year Aaron Rodgers, and then Coach of the Year Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers. So let me know what you guys think about those predictions. How do you see that playing out? So we are going to take our final break of the show. And then when we come back, I will then give you my Super Bowl prediction. Who's going to be playing in the Super Bowl in February? So, and that's how we end off the show for today. So, with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.